Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Monday in Jerusalem as leaders tried to iron out an Israel-Hamas hostage deal. Blinken's trip comes at a particularly tumultuous time politically for Netanyahu, as Benny Gantz, a centrist member of Israel's war cabinet, quit the government Sunday. On his way out the door, Gantz accused Netanyahu of mismanaging the war and putting his political survival over the country's security. Gantz had previously said he would leave the government by June 8 if Netanyahu did not provide a new plan for how to deal with post-war Gaza. With Gantz's departure, Netanyahu is now more reliant on far-right allies in the Israeli parliament, who have threatened to collapse his government if he implements a proposed ceasefire deal that would see hostages released if Israeli forces withdrew from Gaza. With no firm public response yet from Hamas or Israel to the proposal they received 10 days ago, Blinken started his 8th visit to the region since the conflict began in October by meeting with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi of Egypt, a key mediator with the militant Hamas group. Blinken once again called on Hamas to accept the plan, which he said has wide international support. "If you want a ceasefire, press Hamas to say yes," he told reporters before leaving Cairo on the trip that will take him to Israel, Jordan, and Qatar. Blinken said Israel has accepted the proposal, though Netanyahu has not said so directly. "I know that there are those who are pessimistic about the prospects," Blinken said, putting the onus squarely on Hamas. "That's understandable. Hamas continues to show extraordinary cynicism in its actions, a disinterest not only in the well-being and security of Israelis, but also Palestinians." Blinken said the plan on the table is the single best way to get to a ceasefire, release the remaining hostages, and improve regional security. While President Joe Biden, Blinken, and other U.S. officials have praised the hostage rescue, the operation resulted in the deaths of a large number of Palestinian civilians and may complicate the ceasefire push by emboldening Israel and hardening Hamas' resolve to carry on fighting in the war it started with its October 7 attack into Israel. It's hard to say how Hamas will process this particular operation and what it will do to its determination about whether it will say yes or not, Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, said Sunday. "We are hopeful that with enough of a chorus, the international community all speaking with one voice, Hamas will get to the right answer," Sullivan told ABC's This Week. In his talks with el-Sisi, Blinken also discussed plans for post-conflict governance and reconstruction in Gaza, following massive destruction there. "It's imperative that there be a plan, and that has to involve security, it has to involve governance, it has to involve reconstruction," Blinken said. Netanyahu and his government have resisted calls for any day after plan that would bar Israel from having some form of security presence in the territory. Blinken said he would urge Israel to come up with alternatives that would be acceptable. "It would be very good if Israel put forward its own ideas on this, and I'll be talking to the government about that," he said. "But one way or another, we've got to have these plans, we've got to have them in place, we've got to be ready to go if we want to take advantage of a ceasefire." The three-phase ceasefire plan calls for the release of more hostages and a temporary pause in hostilities that will last as long as it takes to negotiate the second phase, which aims to bring the release of all hostages, a full withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, and a permanent end to hostilities, according to an American-drafted resolution put before the UN Security Council. The third phase calls for reconstruction in Gaza. The Security Council is to vote Monday afternoon on the resolution, which welcomes the proposal and urges Hamas to accept it. But Hamas may not be the only obstacle. Although the deal has been described as an Israeli initiative and thousands of Israelis have demonstrated in support of it, Netanyahu has expressed skepticism, saying what has been presented publicly is not accurate and that Israel is still committed to destroying Hamas.